vlog number 813, Sunday, February 15th, 2026, 7:45 a.m. Can't talk too loud, but I just got up. Well, at 7. I've just been sitting here doing different things. But, we're leaving. Well, not leaving. I'm getting up at 8 to go out to the living room, or I guess the other room. And then at 9 o'clock is breakfast. We'll leave at like 8:50 at Cracker Barrel. And then we'll start the day. I'll write down everything. But this is just the beginning clip. I'll get dressed soon. Head out there, write all this stuff down, and give you an update. By the way, as well, the Olympics. Don't think I forgot about those. USA. Not doing too well yet. Michaela Schifrin went today. She finished like 13th. I am not having a great Olympics. Yeah, there's still events on most of the morning, so be paying attention to those. Alright everybody, welcome to the explanation clip. Like I always do, if you did not see yesterday's video, this is part 2 of my trip, well, miniature trip, not necessarily to anywhere, but to the motel, the Holiday Inn with my uncle. Yesterday was Saturday, that was a full day, and this is another full day. I didn't pick up the camera much, so this is just gonna be a straight clip. I'm not gonna keep sending you away to other places. I will when we get to the movie though. But without further ado, let's get this thing going. Exactly what I did, I'll put in the pictures in case you forgot what I did yesterday or just did not watch it. I'm gonna go through all these things, write down all that, or put the notes on the screen, and then once I'm done explaining that, I'll get another clip where I include all the pictures and explain those pictures as I'm explaining it. So that's what I'll do. Let's get this started. So as you just saw, I got up at 7:45. I actually got up much earlier at 7 o'clock. I was kind of just sitting there doing different things on my phone. I didn't turn the TV on or anything. I probably could have, but I didn't. At 7:45, I got up. At 7:55, I went out to the other room. There I was watching the Olympics. I don't necessarily remember what exact Olympic event it was, but it was in the photo. So while I was out there, man, everybody, this is unfortunate. I just did like a 5-minute clip of me talking, and my storage ran out, and apparently it ran out, and I don't even have the clip, so I gotta re-go over this things again, so I'm just gonna get into it like I was saying. I'm just gonna recap this, I guess. Oh, man. I'm pretty sure I just was on the Winter Olympics. I was watching the Olympics. I don't remember what event it was, but while I was doing that yesterday, we went to a cache, the multicache, and we were starting to figure out the coordinates, but we had to go to the movie theater. So, and then remember when we looked earlier, we didn't think that was it. So we tried it again, we put in everything, and it came up with the same results. So we're like, all right, let's try it. So we were meeting my parents for breakfast at 9. So we had a little bit of time. Instead of going to that cache, though, there was another cache by the Motel 6 that we've already looked for once and could not find it. So we're like, you know what, let's just do that real quick. So we left at 8:30, left the parking lot at 8:34, got to that cache at 8:38. But at 9:04, we could not find it again for 25 minutes. We were looking high in trees. I was crawling through trees, and we just could not find it. And someone found it 2 days ago. So it's like, why can we not find this? We gave up because we had to meet my parents at Cracker Barrel. We texted the guy where it was. We're asking. He responded very quickly. He said it wasn't even in a tree. And that was just like, really? We've looked there twice, even more than twice. So that was good that we finally knew the location of that. So we found that later, which I'll get to. But we got to Cracker Barrel at 9:08. Everybody was there. We were at the table right when we walked in. My mom was across from me, then my dad, sister, uncle, and Tony in a circular table. We were just talking the entire time, some good conversations. But we got the food at 9:38. I had some French toast. They didn't have Belgian waffles, so I had French toast. I had that with some bacon. The French toast was kind of burnt, so it wasn't great, but it was all right. We left there at 10:24. We said farewell. I said farewell to my mom and dad. My sister, we would see her again later, so I didn't say anything to her, but she actually got a Griz flag from the basketball game. I don't know how, so she gave that to me, which was cool. And then I got some Valentine's Day stuff from my grandma. You know, then I just said farewell and everything. We said our goodbyes, and my parents went back, and we went over to come on in at 10:28, because if you remember yesterday, that game room was closed. We wanted to see if it was open today. Good news, it was open. The bad news, however, Gravity here was out of order. There were some good prizes in there. There was a fidget spinner. There was 22 quarters, or 22 plays on the system, so people were putting in quarters. Nothing was happening. The ball would not come out. was like jammed somewhere. So that was really frustrating. That once again, there's always seems to be problems with that thing. So no Gravity Hill this time. We were there 14 minutes, left at 10:42. We then went to the cache by the motel at 10:49. Now that we knew where it was actually in a telephone pole, and like this, it was like this piece of tape that was, I don't know, we would have never found it if we did not know it was there. So we got that, left 5 minutes later at 10:54. We then drove to the multicache at 11:01. Went to the coordinates that we didn't think it was the day before, but it turns out it actually was. It was a pine cone hanging from a tree. Why that's kind of funny is that the other one, kind of as a joke, we were discussing, man, is this like a pine cone disguised as something? I was like, do they even have those? And like, yeah, they have them. Well, turns out, yeah, they have them. The very next cache we went to had them. That was awesome. So we found that. That was pretty cool. We then left there. We were there 5 minutes. We left at 11:06. Drove to the mall at 11:30. Watching Scheels. Looked at all the Seahawks champion stuff. We actually ended up getting that. And my dad, mom, and sister, before going back to Eureka, went to the mall. And we actually saw them there, and we were talking with them some more. But eventually, you know, they went and did their own thing, and we went over to Entertain Mart at 11:55. Last year, at the same time, they always have the President's Day deal where they have DVD movies. You can buy 20 for $15, but it's buy one, get one free. So we had 40 movies we ended up getting just like last year. So I was opening those up for the rest of this trip. Walked over to the arcade at 12:05. It wasn't power hour or anything, so the plays went by really fast. We didn't really have a set number. Just kind of play till you feel like you're done. We left at 12:45, 40 minutes later. I had some good performances. I had the ping pong game. I got a 500 on that. I got a new high score on basketball right at the end. It was awesome. The clown game wasn't great. There's less balls now in that clown game, so that was a little unfortunate. Deal or No Deal was not good. The wheel spin wasn't really great. The piano game, I'm a master at that. That was a really great game. But overall, just solid day at the arcade. After that, we went and drove to Lolo because my uncle wanted bags, Griz bags, that's where they have them at. And once again, they had them there. So we stopped at the grocery store at 1:03, got the bags. We left at 1:07. And then when we were in the parking lot, we were looking at different caches and what we could do and which ones to do. We found one, left at 1:13. The parking lot so it took 5 minutes. We did that. We stopped at the Lolo Super Stop at 1:18 because I was pretty hungry. So I got Pringles and a root beer. And then we headed out at 1:23, so once again, 5 minutes. We got, at 1:25, we stopped at Travelers Rest State Park at 1:25. It's a multi-cache. And that took on us this massive walk that we did not anticipate at all. I mean, it literally we found it at 2:11, so it took almost 45 minutes. I mean, we ended up leaving. We found it at 2:11 and then walked back. And we ended up leaving at 2:20, so we were there almost an hour, which is crazy because it's just some random state park. Apparently, Lewis and Clark went there, and that's why it's a state park. But it was really nice following the trail and reading all the things. It was one of those mystery ones again where you have to put coordinates in and stuff, so that was all right. But we left there at 2:20. Oh, yeah, by the way, it was raining. It was raining most of the day, which is just terrible. It was very cloudy, very rainy. It was all muddy, so not the ideal to be doing this, but hey, we didn't even know we were going on a walk to begin with. We thought it was just going to be here and here. No, it was all over the place. But once we left there at 2:20, we went and drove to the bowling alley at 2:47 to play Gravity Hill, and it was out of order there, so Gravity Hill's a strike. I mean, X's everywhere. Nothing was working. We then went to the casino at 2:52. My uncle, while he was doing that, I was looking at different caches we could do in Missoula. We did that until 3:07. We then left. At 3:16, we stopped at the Zootown Super Stop. We were going to a gas station to look for bacon tickets, but that was on the way. And it's interesting, they actually allowed Griz cards in there. I have $900. If I ever want to go to a convenience store and get something, that's the place to go because I could use my Griz card. But anyway, we weren't there long. We were there 7 minutes, left at 3:23. 3:27, we stopped at a cache. I don't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was this one that was really waterlogged, but it was like a massive one. That's, I think, what we were really doing. That's why we were going towards that area. We found it 6 minutes later at 3:33. We left. 3:38, we went to the South Avenue Market, which is right across from Dornblazer and all that stuff. That's where we looked for more bacon tickets. We weren't in there very long. We were in there 2 minutes, left at 3:40. We then went to Miller Hall because there's actually a cache, it's right outside. And it's a premium that I've never done before. We got there at 3:44. We found it and left at 3:57. This was fantastic. It was like a sword cache. It's one of the, it's like there's a sidewalk and there's these two things that kind of stop cars from going. If you lift the thing up, the cache is underneath it. And it looks like a sword and you pull it. Was awesome. It was really cool. I'll show you the picture when I get to that. But that was cool. So we found that pretty fast. We left at 3:57. At 4:07, we went to a cache by the Boy Scout building. Oh yeah, by the way, we went to the Zootown supermarket to get water because for that Boy Scout cache, it said you needed to bring 20 ounces of water. And we understood why when we got there, because it was at 4:07 we got to the Boy Scout building where the cache was. We left at 4:11. You poured water in this tube and the thing would come out. Unfortunately, it was not there. We saw a picture of what it was supposed to look like. We found the location, just wasn't there. So that was a little disappointing. But we left there at 4:11, got to another cache at 4:16. We found that, left at 4:20. I don't remember exactly what cache it is, but the photo will answer that question. And then this is crazy. At 4:37, we got to the movie theater. We originally were going to go to the movie theater, but then we just decided, you know what, let's not do that. So we can just be in the room most of the night and play Xbox. So I thought, okay, we're not going to Crime 101. But since it was starting to rain so much, we were on our way to the Taco Bell geocache. And all of a sudden he says, you know what, we're not going to go to that. We're going to the movie. And I was like, okay. So we went to Crime 101. It was very sudden. I did not expect it. But we got there at 4:37. At 5 o'clock, the movie started. And I'll wait to explain what I feel about that movie when I get done showing you the previews. Because we got there pretty late, right as the previews were starting. But it was an IMAX, got my seat. So let's roll those previews. All right, everybody, it's 4:48. I just got to the movie theater. I gave you the update already. Got the popcorn. We were going to plan on going to the movie. Then we said, now, you know what, we're not going to go to the movie. And all of a sudden, at the last second, we're like, you know what, let's go to the movie. So I got in right as we were starting the previews. I'm usually in here way earlier. Not today. We're already starting the trailers. And I didn't even see this one, so already a new movie. I'm in IMAX today, so let's do it.
Until then,
I'm going to be watching
I'm sure you'll make a
Crime
killing.
101. It's such a stacked cast, man. Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, baby, Keegan, Halle Berry. Great cast. Next trailer. Rated R. I'm not sure what this is.
Please.
Is this the Bride of Frankenstein?
What happened?
What is this, man? Yes, that's what it looks like.
Accident.
Frankenstein.
We dug you up.
Filmed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I've definitely seen this before.
There's a black hole.
This could be good. I will say there's definitely not as many people as last time. It is a rated R movie. Crime 101, like I said. Don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's going to be a pretty good movie. I mean, you have this stacked cast. Oh, yeah.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
No, just the bride.
The Bride. Let's go. Another trailer coming up. I will say it's going to be so weird to watch Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo act together, but not as being Thor and Hulk, where it's just two completely different people and not just a comedic element.
Good morning, Kansas City.
That's gonna be so interesting.
Let's take a look.
I'm so excited. What's going on here? I've never seen this before. Steven Spielberg. You know it's gonna be good if he's directing it.
People have a right to know.
I will say right now, it's crazy how different D-Box and IMAX is. IMAX just completely blasts the speakers, and I absolutely love it.
Do you think that
D-Box doesn't really do that. Bigger screen, this is where you want to watch a movie. Love IMAX. Disclosure Day? Alright. Oh, this is that Star Wars thing, Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Some Star Wars Mandalorian thing. Is this like the Mandalorian and Grogu? Is that what this is? Another trailer I haven't seen. Nice, man, nice. I find it so interesting how different trailers accompany differently rated movies. When I watched Goat, which is a pretty good children's movie, some animated trailers, nothing too gruesome or whatever, kind of just, you know, cartoon-styled movies. And this one, man, with an R-rated movie. I mean, we're going R-rated, horror movie. This is Scream. While I watch this, man, Crime 101. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm really excited to watch this. I know I kind of sound like a broken record right now.
He's dead. You need
It's
to make
gonna
sure
be,
you shoot him in the head.
So weird to see Chris Hemsworth. I've never seen him in another, or even Mark Ruffalo in another project other than Marvel. It's the only thing I've ever seen him in. Scream 7, man.
This is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, let's go. That'll do it for the trailers. Now we're just gonna get into this thing. I will say I'm not a big fan of the new AMC thing.
Now,
I like the old intro way better.
of our brilliant screens. Thank you for choosing AMC Theaters. And a special thanks to our millions of
They don't even
AMC
say
Plus
we make
members,
movies better,
especially
man.
our
It's so much
agents
better than it
who are
was.
seeing up to
I mean, they need to go
4
back to the old
every
one.
week
Like how you
in
paid
any
for the
format
movie.
with
See if
Here's
to
Nicole
love,
Kidman, man.
to cry, to care.
Man, they really stepped it down a notch in these
Somehow,
new, you know, whatever.
heartbreak
It used to be
feels good in a
so
place like
good.
this. AMC Theaters. We make movies better.
Back to the old one. Alright, the lights just went down. We're doing the IMAX thing. Nothing like watching a movie in IMAX. Nothing like it. Alright, let's get Crime 101 going. This is interesting, man. We have a sneak preview of Project Hail Mary, specifically in IMAX. Interesting. Alright, that was interesting. We showed like a brief clip from the movie. Now we're getting to the actual trailer. Now we're getting going. Here we go. Okay, everybody, I've moved locations. In case you're wondering, this is currently on Monday, so if you want to see exactly what I'm doing, go to the Monday vlog. I won't get into anything of that now because that's not this vlog. Back to the explanation clip. The movie Crime 101. First off, there's some good previews. Like I said, I find it hilarious just how different the previews are. You go to a kids movie, you get all these kids previews, and then you go to a rated R movie, and it's just horror movie after horror movie after horror movie. It's pretty interesting. But as for the movie itself, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the crime movie. I liked it a whole lot better than Goat. It's rated higher than Goat, I think, for a reason. I really enjoyed it. Man, though, I mean, it was literally Marvel. Halle Berry, who's in the X-Men. You got Chris Hemsworth, Thor. Mark Ruffalo is Hulk. And what I liked about it, too, is they weren't just in the movie. They were the biggest 3 people in that movie. And, oh, man, the scenes with Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth, just those two, it was so weird because they were so serious as it was a horror movie. They were in a, he was the cop, Mark Ruffalo that was, Hemsworth was the jewel thief. To see him act so serious after seeing what they did in Ragnarok when it was comedy, oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy, but I loved it. I really enjoyed Crime 101. But yeah, that movie ended at 7:13. We left at 7:24, drove to the motel, got there at 7:30, got into the room at 7:33. At 7:37, I turned on Guardians of the Galaxy. That was what was on FX. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so that I watched that. While I was doing that, I was opening movies and doing lottery tickets. 20 minutes later, at 7:57, me and Tony walked over to Dairy Queen. Got there at 8:02. I got a chocolate ice cream cone in a cup. That way, that's more ice cream and stuff. We got back to the room at 8:09. We left and got back to the room at 8:12. So it only took 3 minutes. It's just right across the street, so it doesn't take very long. We got back to room at 8:12. I was eating my ice cream, and then at 8:27, we played Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. We stopped because it's just, that's not really a fun game. So we stopped at 8:35. The KFC arrived at 8:44 that we ordered. We got mashed potatoes, these massive thing of mashed potatoes. And then we also got like 12 chicken tenders. I had 4. We also got biscuits, but of course they didn't deliver them, or so that we didn't have that. I just continued to open movies and all that stuff. Watched Guardians of the Galaxy. It took a long time to eat because there was a lot of stuff. But once I got done eating, played Clue at 9:26, so it took about 40 minutes to eat, where we just were watching Guardians of the Galaxy, not really doing anything. 9:44. Wait, what? Oh, 9:44. Clue ended. We ended up winning. Of course we did. Went to Jeopardy. That ended at 10:10. We actually ended up losing for like the first time ever. We were at $60,000, and we did a daily double where if we got it right, we would have had $120,000. It would have been the easiest win ever. We got it wrong for $0, and then it was a comeback the rest of the day. Then we had a chance at the very end, the daily double, where if we got the question right, we would have won. If we got it wrong, which we did, we would have lost, and we did. It was the Magna Carta. We said the Emancipation Proclamation was the one thing, and we ended up losing. It was the first time we've really ever lost. So we played another one that ended at 10:37. We then briefly did an escape room game that my uncle downloaded, but it was really confusing, and I just didn't feel like playing it, so we didn't do that for very long. 5 minutes later, we went to Trivial Pursuit at 10:44. That ended at 11:09. We did lottery tickets, and then at about, I don't remember exactly what time it was, but 11:30, it was pretty early, 11:25, I think it was 11:20, I finished doing the lottery tickets that we got, and that was it for the night. I went into the room, and that's where I pick up the camera next, so that's the update. Before I include that final clip, I'm going to go back over everything but talk about the photos. Okay, everybody, let's get this going. I'm going to include all the photos because, and I'll talk a little bit more about them, so now you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said yesterday, when you see a photo, it's better than just explaining. I mean, I just talked for like, what, 15 minutes? And I didn't include one photo. Now with these photos, you'll understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about. But here's the photo of the Olympics I was watching. I forgot about that. It was speed skating. That's what it was. Here's me trying to figure out the coordinates. That's the piece of paper. You can see it was a lot of work. Here's the tree that I talked about that we went to. We thought it was on the tree. It wasn't on the tree. This is just the other side of what we were looking at. You can see how dark it is outside, like I talked about later. Here we are at Cracker Barrel. There's the outside. There's the table. Here's what I had. The French toast, the bacon, and I think I had a Coke. Yeah, I had a Coke. Here's what I got. I got a 2 root beer things at the counter. That's what I remember from last time getting at Cracker Barrel, so that was kind of good. Here's Gravity Hill. You can see the 22 credits I was talking about. Out of order. Here we are back again. It's this pole right here, if you can see. Not the tree, but the pole next to it. Here we are at the multicache location. It's actually that middle tree, or no, that end tree where this is located. There was this post in the ground that somebody else took a photo of, so we knew that was where we were in the right spot. There it is. How about that, man? The pinecone. Very cool cache. Very cool. Here we are at Scheels. This was the Seahawks champion stuff. I ended up getting the $45 one rather than the $60 one. It just doesn't say the thing on the back, but it was pretty cool. I wanted the hat, but the hat will have to wait. That was way too expensive. It's that one on the right, the white hat. Here we are at Entertain Mart. Where's the movies? Here's the arcade. There's the 500 points on the fish game. There's a better photo. There's the high score on basketball. And now here we are in the Lolo market. Here's the Lolo Super Stop. I took a photo of this because this is where the yellow pizzas were, and now it's just Tony's Pizza. So they either sold out or, well, they threw them out because they were too old. I don't know. Here we are at Travelers Rest State Park. This was the beginning of the trail. Here's all the stuff that we were doing. I mean, look at the math. Yeah, these multi-caches involve a lot of math. But we ended up getting it. There's the photo of the cache underneath the log. Now here we are at the bowling alley. You can see how wet the ground is. There's the out of order Gravity Hill. So frustrating. When we were at the casino, when I was looking for different caches, I was getting tons of notifications from Adam Schefter. The Seahawks were busy at work, man. They expected to hire 49ers tight end coach Brian Fleury as the new offensive coordinator. So the 49ers tight end coach coming over to Seattle. And then I got another message later that the Seahawks QB coach was hired by the Raiders as their offensive coordinator. So they lose a guy and get a guy. Here we are at the Zootown Superstop. Like I said, they have Griz things. Right there, you Griz card, you money accepted here. That's awesome. Here we are at some random person's house. This is where one of the caches was. It was that was the one that was covered in water. This is the place right across from Dornblazer. We just went to look for tickets that weren't in there very long. I got a notification there. The Daytona 500 was on. Tyler Reddick didn't lead until the final lap and ended up winning the entire thing. Here's the geocache that was outside Miller Hall. As you can see, it is literally a sword. That's awesome. You put that back on, and that's what it looks like. I forgot to mute the TV. Hopefully, I've been able to hear me. This cache was really scary. It was right in front of this house that I did not like, but we got that. Went to the movie theater, surprisingly. There it is, IMAX. That was the poster, Crime 101. Like I said, really good movie. This is the movie ending. There's my spot. Got back to the room. There's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I was doing some lottery tickets, like I said. Walked over to Dairy Queen. There's the chocolate ice cream. And then there it is when I got back to the room. And then this is something I also was doing. This is a problem. I wanted to log the geocaches, the ones that I can't do unless I'm on the computer. But the problem with this is to log onto the computer, it made me sent a validation link to my MJ Van S Team Eureka account. Only thing is that account does not exist anymore because I'm not in high school anymore, or not in Eureka. So the thing I used to create the account, my geocaching account, is not there. So I have no idea how I'm supposed to log these, but that was a little disappointing. But here's Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. Here's what I ended up having. You can see the mashed potatoes. It's a lot of mashed potatoes and some chicken. Here is Clue. We won. There's Jeopardy. Shockingly, we finished third. 0. Crazy. The second game was much better as we went 49,000. I will say this as well. I did not mention this earlier, but we were opening a ton of movies throughout this. Some of the movies I got out of this mystery 20 pack was so crazy. I mean, just look at some of the movies that are in this picture. Blades of Glory was one of the better ones. I think that's probably the best one I got. But we had a collection of Christmas classics. Random. The Pirates Band of Misfits. Carmen Electra aerobic striptease? What? And then we got Betty Boop and Friends from the Bazooka Company, because apparently they make movies now. Thomas and Friends, Dinos and Discoveries, 12 Dogs of Christmas. It was some random movies. But that's what I like. You never know what you're going to get next. Here's the Pyramids and Aliens escape room. That just really didn't feel like it just, I didn't enjoy it. Here we are playing Trivial Pursuit. There's the final scores. I did not win. And that was it. I went into my room, and that'll officially do it. So, I will now put in the explanation, not the explanation clip, I'll put in the final clip that I recorded, and that'll do it for this vlog. Alright everybody, it's 11:40, I just got in bed. I obviously included a ton of updates and whatnot, but man, what a day it was. Got up, we went to breakfast, went to the Come On In, went to a ton of different caches today, multi-caches. Went on this massive hike, well not really massive hike, along Traveler's Rest. Did that. Went to the movie, the Crime 101 movie was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was weird seeing so many people from Marvel in the same movie. I mean, Thor Ragnarok. It was literally Thor Ragnarok, but much more serious with Chris Hemsworth and Daredevil. I really liked that movie. And then just coming back here, playing a ton of Xbox games, doing the scratch tickets, opening up all the movies. It was just a good thing. But that's gonna do it. I will turn TV off, or not TV off, light off tomorrow. Getting up at 8 o'clock. We will leave and go to Walmart and Costco and stuff till whatever go to some more caches tomorrow, pick up my sister, she'll go to lunch with us at Outback Steakhouse. It's weird going there for lunch, but that's where we'll go. And then I'll just be in the room the rest of the day. And then that's when I'll finally get caught up with all these vlogs. But that's gonna do it for this vlog. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow.